I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go, another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It's Wednesday, June 4th. Welcome in, kiddos. Thank you for watching and listening. If you're watching and listening to the live show, thank you very much. Of course, if you're watching and listening later, thank you as well. You can do it on all the same platforms. We go live every day at 10 a.m. You can watch it on Twitter and YouTube. You can also listen to it live if you download the Puck Sports mobile app. Voted the #1 app by Pacific Northwest Magazine. Oh, sounds good. You can download the App Store for your iPhone and Google Play for your Android phone. And you can also catch the show in the Apple CarPlay. So, again, you got choices when driving around town. Everyone's got this habit, right? I got to listen to radio. I'm in the car. You don't have to. Not at 10 a.m. You don't. Not at 10 a.m. Plug us in. If you are watching it live and miss anything, want to go back and watch or listen to anything later, Puck Sports on YouTube. We post the shows immediately after we get off the air at 11:30. Everything's up there by 12. And also on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. And, of course, everything up at pucksports.com. When you're at pucksports.com, we got the Puck the Picker Majors Pool, 3rd edition, coming out next week. You can sign up there if you'd like to get involved. Also, join the Puck's Posse. $5 a month is all it costs you. It supports all the free content we do. Plus, with that membership, you get added bonus shows that no one else gets, like the latest edition, episode 10 of the Sports Pit that is out right now. 90 minutes with myself, Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson, and special guest Mitch Levy. Show episode 10 titled, "What Exactly is a Golden Shower?" You're going to have to listen to find out why that question was asked to Stephen Ernest Sandmeyer. All right? It also gets you the full podcast version when you sign up to be a member. Ryan Divish, our MLB Insider, which will play a portion of it coming up in today's show. Full show, though, available to members. Coming up in the show today, Jim is here. We'll get to him in a quick second. He wants Jalen Milroe, the starting quarterback of the Seahawks. I'm spelling a bet. Harry Ford. Let's revisit Harry Ford. Adam Jude wrote a story about Harry Ford. That is in today's paper. We got to get to that. Again, Ryan Divish coming up a little bit later. The Sports Pit with Mitch Levy. We'll touch in on the Mariners and Orioles game 1. And kind of a snooze fest. Nothing really involved in, not much really happened in that game. But we'll get to all that coming up in the show. Daily Puck Drop, of course, we're broadcasting live from the Limbeck Lumber Studios. Contractors, they got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects. Largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give Limbeck Lumber a call, 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbecklumber.com. Follow me on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Puck Sports. Puck_sports on TikTok. And you can also find us on Facebook as well. But you've been waiting for this. It takes me a few minutes to get through all the stuff. You're here for this guy. There are people that specifically only join this show on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Because, ladies and gentlemen, from Bend, Oregon, he had a nice hike yesterday at Smith Rock. The one and only Jim Moore, the go-to guy. And he's brought to you by...
Hey, Puck, I'm brought to you by A Clean Streak Professional Window and Exterior Cleaning Service out of Oak Harbor, proudly serving Island and Skagit counties for more than 10 years. Brian Turner, wish him a happy birthday when you give him a call at 360-395-5748. Mikey, Kathy, and I sang happy birthday to him. Monday night, I believe it was. And you know what he gave himself for his birthday, or maybe his wife gave it to him? A new Dodge Ram truck. Brian Turner at A Clean Streak. So say happy birthday to Brian. You can sing to him too if you want. They'll clean your roof. They'll unclog your gutters. They'll wash your windows, pressure wash your patio. They'll do it all for you. So give them a call. Like I said, 360-395-5748 or visit acleanstreak.com.
Happy birthday to Brian Turner.
By the way, I Googled golden shower just to make sure.
You did not know what golden shower was?
I had an idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now you know. Well, Stephen Ernest Sandmeyer tells a great story in this week's episode of the Sports Pit that features Mitch Levy about someone, I don't want to give it away, a prominent sports
personality,
administrator, executive personality from the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, 2000s, you know.
God, I hope it was Scott Woodward.
Asking Steve Sandmeyer, what exactly is a golden shower? It's good stuff.
And did Steve answer?
Well, you got to listen to find out.
Oh, come on.
No, not going to give it away.
Come on.
Nope. If you want to listen and to watch the full episode, $5 a month, or you get a discount if you sign up for a year.
Wow, what a salesman.
What a salesman. That's what I am. I'm a salesman. I am a salesman. That's what I am. Hey, before we get into your new fascination that you want Jalen Milroe.
Well, what about a golden shower? Does that do it for you?
As a golden, it does not. No, I'm not into that. No, not really.
Not at all?
No. Just I don't.
I think I could be talked into it.
I don't know. Feel like that would really. I'll be honest with you. Turn me on. No, not really. I don't really want that. But hey, you know what? To each their own, sir. To each their own. Whatever you want. Let's ask the YouTube chat crew. Yay or nay on a golden shower? Let's listen. Let's get the feedback from everyone. Yay or nay on a golden shower in the YouTube chat. By the way, if you'd like to be involved, YouTube chat's a great place. It's its own little community in there. And I mentioned this yesterday. But 90% of the time, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. They have their own little show that's going on in that YouTube chat. So it's quite comical.
Cool. Okay.
It is. Smith Rock, how was it yesterday? It's a wonderful venue out there in Redmond, Oregon. Yeah,
I went there with Kathy. Mikey's with us for another week or two until his internship starts in Seattle. And so thought, what the heck, have a family outing there at Smith Rock. And we just went along the Crooked River. And of course, Sky just, went after the geese and we were yelling at her. And there was considerable commotion for a while there.
Did we have them off leash on the trail?
Okay, here's the deal. Kathy's so funny because she says, well, let's put the dogs on leashes and we'll let them go off on their own, but we'll have the leash. They'll be dragging the leash so that we can stop them if they go after something. And I'm going, wait a minute. Okay, the leash is dragging kind of a little bit behind their feet, but when Sky sees a goose, I can't move quick enough to get the leash and stop her.
That trail is pretty tight, though.
That trail is tight. I'm surprised they allow dogs there, honestly.
Because that's a one. I love your policy of having them off leash. That's one they got to be on leash because you got mountain bikers on that thing.
Well, yeah, I didn't see any mountain bikers yesterday.
Well, but there are because that's a trail in Smith Rock. People would hike, mountain bike it, and it's narrow.
Yeah, you're
going to kill
someone. I don't know. I guess I guess people would be torn on this that are dog owners because I like to let my dog kind of wander and explore things and go after squirrels and stuff. But God, Sky got a baby duck the other day, and that was not cool.
I'd killed the baby duck.
Oh, ate the baby duck.
Murderer.
God. And so I hesitated to go to the same place. I went to the same place today, but I stayed away from the little canal because I didn't want to see Mama Duck trying to protect her baby ducks. That was for somebody like me that I'm just such an animal lover and, bird lover. And, I couldn't even kill a fish anymore, but I hated seeing that. And so, but it's like the instincts take over. Like I don't know why I'm sitting there yelling, Sky, 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 come, Sky, come. It's like, save your breath. Sky was not hearing me at all. She was just on a beeline for those.
Sky is a dog version of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Good for Sky.
No, I felt bad though. Yeah, I did. Smith Rock is terrific though. If you get down here, it's a must stop. Did you go with the family when you were here?
I've been many times to Smith Rock.
Have you? Okay.
Yes.
Did you go up Misery Ridge?
Is that to the right?
Well, it's the main trail where you kind of go up and you get a good view, I guess.
Yeah, but I've never hiked it. Just only mountain biking. Only doing mountain biking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And,
there's always, a guy up there that's trying to scale one of those faces of Smith Rock. And, so the guy was up there yesterday and I was looking at him going, there's nothing in the world that would possess me to want to do that.
Wow.
Nothing.
Well, because you're a beta male, though. He's an alpha male. He's a lion and you're a sheep.
I guess there's probably some beta males that'll do that, though. Would you do it?
I don't know. No.
I mean, it looks kind of safe, I suppose, by their standards with the ropes and the, whatever they're doing.
Sheep move, buddy. It's a sheep.
I don't care, man. I'm a proud sheep.
I know you are.
Yeah.
Not a lot to talk about at the Mariners game last night. I mean, 5-1. Kirby looked better, but still not great. Tellez home run. Jackson Kowar looked good. That's about it. I want Ryan O'Hearn. If there's a way the Mariners can get Ryan O'Hearn, I'd like them to get him. He had a couple of hits last night, RBI. So pull off a move to get him. That'd be nice. That was all.
I heard you talking about that with Jim Duquette yesterday.
That's all I'm interested in.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was kind of a
Yeah. If you missed yesterday's episode, you can download it wherever you find your podcasts. It was a really interesting conversation with Jim Duquette talking about possible candidates the Mariners would look for at the trading deadline.
That's right.
Pucksports.com. I mean,
there we go.
And for $5 a month, man, you can get all that extra content too.
It's just unbelievable what you get.
I mean, this bullshit I'm giving you is free.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's free, but you know what? People would pay for it.
I don't think so.
Bill says you got to be careful, though. Bill says rattlesnakes all over Smith Rock. Keep those dogs leashed.
Oh, Kathy asked me about rattlesnakes yesterday.
Yeah, it's rattlesnake season.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was 75 there yesterday. They don't come out until it's in the 90s, do they? The rattlesnakes?
I think it's getting a little hotter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions about the golden shower. Scott saying who's delivering. Okay. Same question for Brandon, giving or receiving. I don't know, Brandon. It's up to you. Whatever you want to decide. Jarrett checks in with checking in. That's a no for me.
No, I think that's a good answer on it. Depends on who's the one that's giving it.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of hard for the girl. Yeah. Okay. What does Jeff say? No. Stung by jellyfish. Yes. For people who don't know, if you're stung by a jellyfish, you pee on the sting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we've been able to answer that question.
Okay. What percentage of your audience doesn't know what a golden shower is? Because you got
1%.
50%?
10%.
10%? All right.
I think a lot of people that listen are sick and weird and twisted like us. So I think
okay. All right.
I think they know.
Okay.
All right. So you
go ahead. You're not yay or nay on a golden shower.
I'm a nay. I'm a nay on it. I'm a no.
You're a nay personally, but you're a yay if you're someone who likes that kind of thing.
Oh no, you can do whatever you want. It's you.
Yeah. All right.
I'm. You know what? I'm yay. I'm yay on the motto I lead every single day, and it's a hashtag. You do you.
Yeah. Okay.
It's your life. You do whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell somebody else what to do.
Yeah. Can I tell you about a new pet peeve I have? And it's not really new, but it happened again last night. When the official scorer gives you the hometown discount on a call. Like J.P. Crawford, that was an error by anyone's book. Anyone's. Except for the official scorer at the Mariners game who called that a hit. Julio the other night, the supposed infield hit that he had.
Yeah, that was
Clemens had fielded that cleanly.
That's an error.
He would have thrown him out.
Yeah, that you have a big issue with the hometown scorekeeper. Is it still Eric Radovich? That's your problem? Is with Eric Radovich, who I think, if Eric's not doing the games anymore, my apologies, but you have a problem, and you've had a problem for years with the official score with the Seattle Mariners. Is it true or not true?
It is true, and I like Eric, and I think Eric might like me. I don't like that he's the Husky play-by-play guy. Or no, wait, he's the announcer, right? At the football and basketball
games. He's just for hello dog fans. He's that guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't like that part of him, but no, I always got a kick out of myself. I don't think he did, but whenever I was covering games, I'd say like, "You sure you're calling that an error? Wasn't that a hit?" But I just don't like it when it's slanted toward the home team and it's so obvious why you're doing it.
Because
it's the home team. That was an error by J.P. Crawford. Was it
Why
not?
don't you volunteer?
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Well, hold on. Just why don't you volunteer your time and do it? Because here's what I think about people that do the official scoring. I am never at that level, but over the years, with youth sports, and anybody that plays baseball, you're on that game changer. You know all about game changers, so you're scoring the game. Okay, and then the youth level, it's a little bit more because you do slant always towards favoring your team, especially your kids, when it's a hit and it really should have been an error. And everybody does that. Okay, everybody does it. But there's a lot of pressure in scoring game. You want to get it right. So I think you should go do it because I think it's easy to sit back on your couch. I think it's easy to sit back in your brand new outdoor living space or in your brand new hot tub watching your 3 70-inch TVs.
The hot tub's not brand new.
Okay. You bought a used hot tub?
Yeah, it was here when we got here.
Oh.
It's a nice 104 degrees though. I got the chlorine just right. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have chlorine. Yeah, of course. It's easy to sit in that hot tub of yours on the 3 TVs and bitch and moan about the scoring.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think if you brought up the analogy of Jeopardy with what you just said there, like sitting at home watching Jeopardy and you've got the answers, and how could he not get that? I'm not going to buy that when it comes to being an official scorer. I think I could sit in that chair and do a damn good job. Okay. And you know what I would do on the questionable calls? I wouldn't leave it up to my own interpretation. I would say, hey, Divish, what do you think? Hey, Jude, what do you think? I'm leaning toward error, but I could be talked into a hit. Help me here.
Yeah.
I don't know if Eric does that or not, but I wouldn't be, above doing something like that.
I agree with you on both of your points. I did not think that was a hit the other day for Julio, and yes, I believe it was an error. Yes, of course.
Yeah, and it was a pass ball by Raleigh too in the 9th inning when Munoz was given a wild pitch.
Yes.
And then Mikey goes, well, that ball was in the dirt. I understand that, Mikey, but the ball barely scraped the dirt. It didn't short hop him. I bet you. Here's the thing, too.
I got to look at that one again, and I got to look at that one again because I think I'm going to agree here with Mikey. If that ball's in the dirt,
yeah, but
I'm
you know why
sure
they didn't give. You know why they didn't
ball.
give him. You know why they didn't give him a pass ball?
Why?
It's because they want him to win that platinum thing again.
Oh, okay. But they want to screw over the guy that's the best closer in baseball.
Well, Munoz doesn't care. Munoz, do you think a pitcher cares when he has a wild pitch on his record?
I'm just saying, but do
you think? I mean, do you think Munoz would have cared if that score was scored a wild pitch?
Maybe he does. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just they're very small things.
Do they have is there a summer league baseball team in Bend? Why don't you go be official scorer for like the high school, Summit High School or something? Isn't that the big high school there in Bend?
I'll look into that.
Yeah.
And then there's always somebody on Twitter. I think her name is Matasox or something like that. She's like, whenever I question these calls on Twitter, she's like, yeah, okay, Jim. And so what? And I'm like, well, I don't know. It just and she makes it.
I want to look her up. What's
she makes
her
a
name?
good point. She makes a good point. I think it's Madisox. And she makes a good point because these are such small things that I shouldn't concern myself with them, especially in retirement. I mean, why would I care what an official scorer does on a game?
Hold on. Where does she comment on your stuff all the time?
Just when I tweet about scoring decisions.
Okay.
And she's right. No one should really care about that stuff, but for some reason I do. You know how you care about some things that are just stupid and you shouldn't, but I do.
It's your pet peeve. That's why it's a pet peeve.
Yeah.
So Kip, when you did the one the other day about Clemens, Kip Arney says, ask Puck about the scoring decision on Cole Young's walk-off. He wasn't awarded a hit, even though he wasn't tagged. The ball was never thrown at first base. Box shows 1-4 with a walk. Shouldn't it be 2-4? No, it was a fielder's choice.
Yeah. Did they score it a fielder's choice?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just figured it was a good time to bring up something that's.
Oh, I see Matty Sox. Okay, agree with the bird, blah, blah. And well, you know what? And Matty Sox, screw you. And then you said, I just don't like when the official scorer scores a game with some hometown cooking. How does that affect the outcome of the game and the standings? Would something like that keep the team from making the playoffs? What is this person's problem? Does this person not know you just don't like the fact that it was scored a hit and should have been an error? I'll be a note, all due respect, Madisocks, you're an idiot. You really are.
Don't you think JP came back to the dugout or thought about it last night and thought, that should have been an error on me? I can't believe they gave that guy a hit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I just think that it's, but I think there's hometown cooking all the time.
I think you're right about that. And I think that I think it's always crazy too how you hear about a manager calling the official score. I should talk to Eric Radovich about what it's like to be an official scorer.
Yeah, you should do a story.
And how often Dan Wilson calls up there wondering why, or if a player questions him, and how much do you get to be an official scorer? I mean, all those kind of things. I would find that to be an interesting column, but it also takes more work than I probably want to put into, when I'm retired, but we'll see. Would you read it?
I would. I think you should go up and spend a game with him.
Okay.
And I think that what the part of the project should be that you sit there and do the game with him. And before he ever makes a call, he asks you, what would you do?
Well, that would be good. Would it be kind of like, remember when Riz and Niehaus used to let like a little leaguer call a batter or two? Would that be like similar to that, where they'd be letting a rank amateur up there trying to do, someone that should be a professional doing that job, like Eric? I don't know. What was Eric Radovich's qualifications to be a scorer? Do you have to go to scoring school to
no, I think it wouldn't be so much about having the little leaguer, and I think it would be more about when they bring up the Make-A-Wish kid.
I'm not going to comment on that. I'm going to just let you just kind of fricassee yourself there. Okay.
I don't think they go to scoring decision school, but I'd like, if there was.
Are you sure? Like, what qualified Eric Radovich to be, like, when he filled out the application, what'd he say? Like,
I like baseball.
Baseball fan. I say hello, dogs.
This is why.
What? I could do that damn job. I'm not kidding. I could do that job. I can't, cast my iPad up to my big screen, and get the game on Root Sports.
Yeah.
Although I've solved that now, and they've gotten back to me.
But you could score a Major League Baseball game.
I know I could score a Major League Baseball game. This is a story
that you need to do. Then go out, read.
Don't you think you could do it? I think any baseball fan could do it.
Yeah, but I think when the pressure's on you to make the call, I think there would be a lot of anxiety.
Well, I wouldn't have had any anxiety last night watching that play that JP didn't make. And
write a story why you think Eric Radovich should be fired as the official scorer of Mariners baseball, replaced by the go-to guy.
No, I don't want him to. I like Eric. I do. I think he used to like me, but if he listens to this podcast,
he loves
probably in
you.
the past.
Loves you. Ask your friend Tim Hevley that you want to, I want to know, do you have to go to some type of school? Is there a training for it?
Okay.
There must be. There's got to be some type of training for it.
I'm coming up the middle of June, and I'll see if the Mariners have a game, and I'll contact Hevley and see if Eric will let me sit next to him, and I'll report back into you.
Are you, when you come up in the middle of June, are you going to make your way out to the VMAC, the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, to go shake the hands of Jalen Milroe and be like, Jalen, my goal and hope is for you to be the starting quarterback of the Seahawks. I don't care that the Seahawks gave $55 million guaranteed to Sam Darnold. I don't care what Mike McDonald has said. You are the starting quarterback. If you're wondering why we're bringing this up, Jim has wrote a fabulous article at the Tacoma column, the Tacoma News Tribune, stating that it's his preference and hope that Jalen Milroe is the starting quarterback.
Okay, yeah, I did do all of that. You're correct. I marvel at your ability as a sports talk podcast guy where you just went from that scoring decision and Eric Radovich and seamlessly transitioned to the Seahawks and Jalen Milroe. That was impressive. That was impressive. I think listeners and viewers alike are very impressed at your talent.
Paid professional.
Yeah, you are a paid professional. Anyway, yeah, I had a hard time yesterday trying to figure out what to write about. And so I went with Jalen Milroe. I was thinking about, the Randy Johnson Ichiro thing with retiring 51 with two different players having the same number. I wasn't quite sure where I was going to go with that.
Are you a fan of that or not?
God, I don't know. I'm probably a bigger fan of golden showers than I am of two players sharing a number.
Let's revisit that later. Okay, back to Milroe.
And then I thought about writing about Cal Raleigh. How can you go wrong writing about Cal Raleigh? But I wasn't sure what I could come up with that maybe hasn't already been written or said.
Right.
And so I just decided to go with Jalen Milroe. I think there's a lot of fascination in town with the 3rd round pick out of Alabama and what he could. And the funny thing is, though, Puck, I send the column in to Sean Robinson, the sports editor at the News Tribune. I hit the send button. And like 5 minutes later, that other station, Seattle Sports, they had Mike McDonald on.
Never heard of it.
And he said, when he was asked a question about who's your starting quarterback, is Darnold the guy for sure? And he said unequivocally that, yeah, there's no chance that anyone's going to start besides Sam Darnold. And I'm going, hey, Mike, I just filed that column saying you should start Milroe 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't appreciate that from the second year.
Don't screw me over, McDonald.
Yeah. But don't you think, I know I'm not alone on this. You and I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I don't think you believe in Sam Darnold. And it goes all the way back to that game in 2018 or whatever it was when Jahad Woods took the ball away from him at Martin Stadium on a Friday night. And then it goes to the Jets where Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts against the Patriots on a Monday night game. Threw 4 interceptions and lost a fumble that was returned for a touchdown. And then it goes to last year, the last 2 games of the season. The Vikings, as good a season as they had, they could have been the number 1 seed in the NFC. And he shit the bed that night against Detroit. And then the Vikings only scored 9 points for 2 consecutive weeks with Sam Darnold as the quarterback. Troy Aikman was ripping him. Yeah, he could have gotten $50 million. He ended up getting $33 million a year. I just don't see Darnold as being the guy. I just think there's going to be questions about him all season long. And I even mentioned in that story the bet that I had with you about how shitty I am when it comes to gauging quarterback battles, and that I lost $500 to you thinking that Drew Lock was going to start ahead of Geno Smith. The easiest bet that you've ever made, winning $500. And I couldn't have been more wrong. But there's still a fascination with Drew Lock with John Schneider because he brought him back again. So I don't know. I like quarterback controversies, and I know you do too. And it's good for business when you're in sports radio.
Well, I mean, because there's no other position talked about more than quarterback. So yeah, the best thing from an entertainment standpoint, and I don't care about the stuff on the field and just entertainment, because that's what this is if Jalen Milroe balls out in the training camp and in the games, and you're like, oh my God. And then Sam Darnold struggles a little bit. Yeah, because it's spicy, it's juicy, it's fun to talk about. I do believe that there's no chance that he starts. There's just zero.
Zero.
I can't say zero because that's
you say zero. From a guy that said Darnold's going to get 90% of the snaps, or a little more than 90%.
You're reading too much into that. What that means, all of you are. He's not talking about in between the 20s. He's talking about in the red zone. That's the only time he's going to be in the game next year.
Well, you're reading between the lines then, too.
No,
You know what else he could do? I think you're right, but it's a possibility you're wrong because oftentimes you are. It could be where he gets a series in the second quarter.
No way. How much do you want to bet? I'll bet anything right now.
No, I'm just saying. That happens. That happens with the 1B quarterback. Like what was his name? Fishy over there at UW.
Fishy. Where's the visor? Hold on.
He's Fishy. That guy. Fishy. I know his last name's Fish, and I'm trying to be funny with making a play.
Where's my? I need the visor. Did you already see college football? There was
I wouldn't trust that guy as far as I could throw him. Would you?
West Coast football. You follow them on Twitter. Two coaches on the hot seat this year. Number 1, Kalen DeBoer. Number 2, the Fisher.
No, why is
that
Fish
would be
on
awesome?
The hot seat? Why is Fish on the hot seat?
I know he's on the hot seat according to them. I love it. Yeah. You know who's not on the hot seat? Jimmy Rogers.
Yeah, I get a kick out of Jimmy Rogers. We're going to run the football.
Yeah.
New
football, buddy.
Until that first loss of 4 where there's a linebacker that shows up in our backfield.
Stop being negative. It's going to be a new
era. No, you think we're going to run the ball against Ole Miss?
Yeah, we are. Going to push those guys around. That 310-pound runs a 4.3 40. A defensive tackle. He's going to be pushed aside by the 275-pound guard from Othello.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Where are we at?
Chris King, first play from scrimmage.
Hey, I don't know. I don't think Chris King's back.
I-backs, Cougars.
He's not back. I don't think he's back.
Cougars.
I think it's a one and done.
Zebby hands it off.
Are you listening to anything I'm just saying? Are you listening to me?
Zebby hands it off. Oh, a loss of 5.
You're not even
second
listening.
and 15 for the Cougars.
You're not even listening. You're not even listening.
Why? Yes, I just heard that.
I don't think the broadcasting crew is back. I think they're going to blow it all up.
The whole crew?
Well, I mean, they got bought out by it's not Learfield anymore. It's called Playfly, and they're advertising the jobs.
Are you back in play?
Yeah, why not?
Are you back in play?
No, I'm not back in play.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
You applied for it the first time.
I'm just telling you, it's out there being advertised as open.
Come on.
I don't know what happened.
Come on, be honest. Don't give us a tease.
I have not done anything.
Don't make us pay $5.
I haven't said anything. I have not applied for anything. I'm telling you that Playfly has put it out there.
Well, what I'm telling you is that I want you to apply for it.
Okay, I'll do it just for you.
Will you apply for it?
Sure. Can I get back to?
Wait. I want to go down this road a little longer, because you didn't get a fair shot the first time around.
I'll apply for it. Can we move on? I'll apply.
No, come on. Don't be like that.
No one cares about. No one. I think
you'd be great at it. I think you'd be great at it. And you're a WSU alum who went to the damn communications school. Why wouldn't you be one of the leading candidates? Hey. You did play-by-play out there in Astoria or wherever the hell you were.
We'll see. There's a lot of moving parts. Okay.
I'll pinch hit for you when you're not here. When you're on the road, I can stumble through like I did before at KJR.
Oh, I think you'd be great. I'll tell them I'm only going to take the job. I'm only going to take the job if Craig Elo's back.
Oh, God. If I'm from Playfly, the first move I make is to, get rid of Craig Elo. God bless him. He was a hell of a player, but God, he sucks as a broadcaster, man. I don't want to hear him anymore. Did I make that clear?
You made it perfectly clear.
That's not very nice. The Cougars. Hey, Chad.
Cougar legend.
I mean, Chris. Chris, that's you too, Chris. Oh, Jesus, the Cougars though. Yeah, okay.
Craig, it's Jim Moore. It's not me. Not me. Jim, first name, actually James Moore.
You think the same thing I do about him.
Okay.
Don't you? Come
Here's
on.
the bet. Here's what I want.
It's 100 to 1 they keep Elo.
300 to 1. 1,000 to 1. Here's the bet, and it can be a season-long bet, and whatever you want. I will bet that Jalen Milroe never steps on the field between the 30s.
Oh, okay. I'll bet that.
Okay.
Like you're saying never.
Hold on. Barring injury.
Okay. That's what I was going to say.
Let me get the injury thing in there. On ability, that I will bet you between the 30s, he will never take a snap at quarterback, barring injury.
All right, I'll go 50 on that.
Okay. Let me write that down.
Yeah, I'll go 50 on that.
50.
It does worry me though that they brought Locke in, because why would they bring Drew Locke in? They want Drew Locke to be a backup. Yeah, they want him to be a veteran, seasoned kind of guy. Been in the line of fire. And so because why wouldn't Milroe be the backup if they thought enough of him?
They're only going to use him in the red zone, but they didn't want to come out and say it like he's Taysom. Remember, they bristled at the Taysom Hill suggestion. They're going to use him in the red zone. That's when they're going to use him because of his legs. He's not yet. He's not there yet as a passer. All right. So the bet is from between the 30s.
Okay. Let me ask you something else. Okay. Sam Darnold at some point this season, and I would say some points this season, plural, is going to have a game or a series or something where we look at him and go, God, that reminds me of that USC game at Washington State, or that reminds me of the Sam Darnold when he was seeing ghosts. And I think there's going to be some unrest at Lumen Field. Yeah. So when that does happen, and if it does, well, when that happens, I don't think that's an if based on his history, that, does Locke come in then, or does Milroe come in?
Locke.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Matthew may have secured. I should have put another qualifier in the bet.
Yeah, but you accepted 50.
I accepted. It's fine. It's fine.
You're making Matthew's so much money. That's just 10 people. Puck's Posse.
Matthew's right. Tush push 4th and 1 outside field goal range. They could bring him in.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah. Good job, Matthew. Yeah, I could lose it right there. Could lose it right there.
I can't believe they kept that rule in. I can't believe it. Just can't believe it. It's not
because other teams can't stop it, so we should get rid of the rule.
It's not a football play.
Oh God!
It's not a football play.
What's a football play?
I still listen to Hugh Millen. Okay.
Well, Hugh is wrong. He's
wrong.
He's
not.
Yes, he is. He's wrong.
Hugh is brighter than both of you, me, everybody combined.
He's fine, but he's also wrong. He was wrong about Russell Wilson, and he's wrong about this one.
God, we should have. You know what we should have done when we had Hugh Millen on when we were in KJR. We should have timed how long his answers were and left the studio and seen, gotten a cup of coffee and seen if we could have done that, and then time it when he came back, when he stopped.
I think I did it one time, not sure if you were there, and it was 14 and a half minutes.
Was it?
Hey, look at this. You got someone who's taking your side on the bet.
It's what, Mitch Levy's listening to this trash?
Yeah, he's got nothing else going on. He must be getting ready to go play golf, and is like, I guess I'll tune into this hot shit garbage. He wants some of that action. So again, he believes
I still listen. I listen to Mitch on Mondays when it's free, but I'm not going to pay $5 to listen to Danny O'Neill. Shit, I used to listen to him for free myself. God. Yeah, let's charge $5 for Danny O'Neill. You fucking kidding me,
what do you got
Mitch?
against Danny O'Neill?
Nothing, but I'm not going to pay $5 to listen to him. I love Danny.
Would you pay $5 to read him?
No. No, but I love him. I used to. Well, yeah, I would. Okay, I would.
You don't love him, you like him.
No, I love Danny and I love Dave. We had a fun show there at 7.
Do you?
For a while.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Did you ever listen to Danny David Moore or no?
When I wanted to take a nap.
Oh, okay. Take a shot then. Why'd you want me to work with you?
I felt like I could help you out. You felt like a wounded soul.
You want to bring up Make-A-Wish again? You want to try that?
Make-A-Wish. It was another Make-A-Wish project for me.
Don't go down the Make-A-Wish road. Yeah, that's off limits.
The kids that do the Make-A-Wish. First of all, the kids that do a Make-A-Wish, a lot of times they're fine. They had the trip planned and then they make it out. So, and that's kind of your case.
I'm trying to help you. Stop digging. Stop digging.
I'm not digging anything. You just.
I think you
kind of feel like one of those kids. You got a little drool coming out your mouth.
You're digging a hole. I'm just amazed that Mitch Levy would be listening right now.
He's a big fan of yours. Is he?
I'm a big fan of his too.
Yeah. Well, go on a show.
That KJR morning show hasn't been the same since he left. I think we can all agree on that.
Well, but that's unfair because you're comparing, I think the job that Chuck and Bucky and Ashley do are great, but you're comparing it to arguably the greatest morning show in the history of Seattle sports talk. That's unfair. It's like saying, well, he's not that player's just not Jordan. Well, no one's Jordan.
Well, okay, sorry.
I mean,
sorry, you want me to retract my statement?
That'd be like saying, that
for the people who download this later, could you delete that so I won't look so stupid or whatever?
The afternoon show just hasn't been the same. It's it's 7:10 without Danny, Dave, and Moore. Now, no one says that, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if somebody said that.
Well, Stelton and Dave aren't as good as Danny, Dave, and Moore were.
Well, yeah, they're better.
I love them both, but I think the three of us had a better show. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, come on, Craig, spit it out. Hey, did you read? Someone is agreeing with you, and I think here's another. We should have bet on this one because you may win this bet.
What's that?
Did you read Adam Jude's story today about Harry Ford?
I did read Adam Jude's story about Harry Ford.
It feels like they're going to bring him up.
By the way, my wife thinks he's good looking, Harry Ford.
He's Harry Ford. He's very good.
On our drive to Smith Rock yesterday, she mentioned how good looking Harry Ford was. And Mikey was in the back seat with the dogs going, Jesus, Mom, he's 21 years old. Yeah. And she was like, it's okay for me at 66 to look at a 21-year-old and just say that he's good looking. Yeah. Now, can women get away with that more than me looking at a 21-year-old saying she's hot? Because it's always the dirty old man pervert thing that comes out. Like if a woman's 66 and says a 21-year-old is good looking, like when she watches The Bachelor, I know she'd like to sleep with some of these kids, but she's not going to do that. But I mean, I always say,
maybe she would.
We're at a point now where I used to say, God, those kids could be your sons, and now it's like they could be our grandsons.
Yeah. Well, let Kathy Moore live her life.
Okay, I will.
It's not yours; it's hers. Let her do what she wants to do. So he writes this. So speaking of good-looking Sir Harry Ford, so he writes this whole story. He talked to Jerry DiPoto. It's something that you and I talked about last week. At what would they bring him up? I said I don't think it'd be a good decision. I just don't see it because you bring him up, he catches once or twice a week, and what do? Do you DH him? That's an awful lot for a kid who's breaking the major leagues at 22 to be a DH at times, I think. But when you read that article, I think you can take it one of two ways. One is he's serious about bringing him up at some point. Is it within a month or so? Divish and I get into it today, and I think we talk about it, and I'll play a little portion of it coming up in a bit. Or was that Jerry DiPoto doing an ultimate sales job of really hyping up Harry Ford because we're 6 weeks away from the deadline? I think there's some truth to both of it.
Well, the one thing that was clear in that story, and I think Adam got the idea to write about this after hearing the podcast here at pucksports.com, Spotify.
So do I.
Yeah. Anyway, the one thing that was clear is that Harry Ford doesn't want to be playing another position.
No.
He didn't like that left field experiment thing. You could just tell, read between the lines. He just said, I'm a catcher. I've been a catcher since I was 8 years old. So I mean, what the heck? We always, the kids get coddled sometimes. Why? Maybe Harry Ford will be the kind of kid that could come up and be a backup catcher and be a DH and be off and running.
Well, to the point of why would you do it? And Adam points out, go read the story. It's a great story. He's got great quotes in there from Jerry DiPoto, Adam Jude, Seattle Times, SeattleTimes.com. It's the Dodgers recently have just done this. They brought up their top catching prospect, got rid of their backup catcher. So this top prospect catcher now is backing up Will Smith. So the idea, and
are they DHing that kid too?
I don't know. Well, no, because they've got another guy who's kind of a DH who's kind of good.
Okay, good job. I thought you were going to say no because they don't have a DH in the National League. I thought maybe you'd. No,
but no, that's not where I was going. It just seems like the guy that's their DH is kind of good. Do you know who their DH is?
Is it Teoscar? Shohei.
Guys,
it's Shohei.
I'm sorry that you have to endure this, and I know there's options at 10 a.m. where you want to.
I'm not watching the Dodgers. I don't know.
Well, Jesus, man, you should know who their DH is.
Okay, Shohei Ohtani. Okay,
the best player in baseball.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'm a big fan of Craig. You don't know sports, but you ask me who the DH or the Dodgers is.
Imagine Elo being the Dodgers color analyst.
I want him to say,
Vin, he hit home. Vin's not alive anymore, Craig.
Charlie Steiner, I think, is the play-by-play.
What's it going to be like when I run into Craig Elo sometime? If he's ever heard me
unpleasant. So here I see the side of it of bringing him up. So because you brought it up last week, you were like, yeah, just do it. So you bring him up. What would benefit him more? And I don't know what the right answer to this is. Does it benefit him more to stay down in Tacoma, learn to keep refining his skills as a catcher, or if he comes up, which I see the benefit of this as well, he catches twice a week, but he gets to be in the room with the best catcher in baseball at the major league level, learn from him, soak it all in from him, and then also learn from his manager, who was a great catcher himself, and Dan Wilson.
All good points.
What do you think?
I like the idea of doing it. And are you going to like harm a kid's confidence if it doesn't work out? Well, let's say you try it for 2 or 3 weeks and it doesn't work out. Well, okay, at least you tried it. Send him back to Tacoma. But what if you lose Garver? What if you do it and it does work out? And then you kind of go, well, okay, I'm glad we're doing this. It proves that he can do it at the major league level, and you could still trade him.
Well, but if you bring him up and you're like, and give it for, I don't think you'd give it more than a few weeks. If you bring him up and you realize it doesn't work, now you've got to find another catcher. And again, I'm not saying I'm not going to cry if when Mitch Garver leaves. He's just been wildly a massive disappointment for this organization. He's a good backup catcher, like catching wise, but the money they paid for him is just, it's criminal how much they gave him, and he just did not produce offensively. You'd have to go find another catcher. Not going to carry 3.
Well, okay. I think they could find another catcher.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But no, I like the idea. I hope they do it, especially the way Ford's hitting down there. You want to nod your head a little more? No. Good point. Were you thinking about saying good point, Jim, or anything?
I was just laughing at Antonio's point in the chat. Jim not knowing Shohei's position. Pure.
I was kind of caught off guard there a little bit.
Yeah. Can you do this one? Craig wants to know. Hey, Craig, who's your pick to click?
Who's my pick to click tonight?
Yeah, but do it for Craig. But do it in Craig Eagle.
Oh, well, Gary and Rick. Where's Rick tonight? Where's Rick? How come Rick's not here? Isn't that usually Rick Riz? My pick to click tonight is Jorge Polanco. Yeah, you ever see his eyes? His eyes are just always so wide open. Hey, Chaz.
Yeah. Chaz's not here anymore.
You know what I want? God, I'm such a bad human being. I always whenever I hear that pick to click segment, I always hope there's always that little bit of me that thinks, God, I wish Riz or Gary or Curtis Rogers the other day. I was just thinking, come on, Curtis, come through. C-Rog, come through for me. I want one of those guys to say something like, God, the Mariners, they're just not playing very well. I'm going to, go with Ryan O'Hearn tonight. Ryan O'Hearn, God, I want to see a pick to click from the other team. Just one night, just one time. And then see if that gets a call into the principal's office for them and just, follow up on that. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Kruger would do that. Bill Kruger would do it.
Old school baseball, Bill Kruger. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Is he on with you?
He's on Mondays. He wasn't on this week at a charity golf event, but he'll be back next Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
Great.
You see how I set you up for that?
You did. You're a great teammate. Always have been. The Craig Elo of sports broadcasting.
Yeah.
Of podcasting. All right. What do we got planned today? Golf, river walk, more Smith Rock.
12:40 tee time at the old back nine. Kathy and Mikey and I are going to play.
Back nine. Well, go hit them straight.
Okay. I'll do it. I'll try. Thanks, Puck.
All right, see you. Go Cougs. There he is. Jim Moore, the go-to guy with us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays here on the show. Talking a little Jalen Milroe, Harry Ford, and others. And Golden Shower there with Jim Moore. All right, Ryan Divish with us every single week. Full podcast with Ryan Divish available for Puck's Posse members. It will be up after the show. 40-plus minutes talking Mariners baseball from Havre, Montana with our MLB Insider. Every week, though, we give you a little snippet of the show. We talk Cal Raleigh. We talk Harry Ford on this week's edition with Ryan Divish, our MLB Insider, all brought to you by Chalet Bowl. And every week we would just do another Cal Raleigh segment, and I believe we're going to continue it unless he cools off. I mean, some of the stuff that he's approaching right now, he obviously has, and again, he doesn't care about the individual awards. He wants to be part of the larger award, which is helping the team, but his individual success obviously is going to help the team. He's got what at this moment 23 home runs. Obviously, Sal Perez's single season record is very much in sight for him. It almost, in a weird way, could be disappointing if he doesn't surpass him, which is 48 home runs for a catcher. The one stat that kind of blew me away that he has a legitimate shot at, I mean, is Mickey Mantle's switch hitting home run record. That's 54. I mean, it's just this season of the things that the people that he individually can pass this year would, if he does that, Divish puts him down, and you will have a debate, and I don't know how much the debate will be, of the single greatest season a catcher has ever put together in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, while catching probably more innings than any of the other catchers that have done that.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, I can't remember. Maybe you know this, and we could look it up. I think the year he hit the 48 home runs, for Perez, weren't the majority of those from the DH position? For him,
yeah.
I think for Cal, that's not been the case.
Yeah. No,
Cal
actually doesn't. Cal doesn't actually. He doesn't hit as well when he DHs as he does when he. So the bigger discussion is this, and it goes down to this MVP debate, right? As the summer wears on, if he continues to be in that same, which he is now, ballpark of offensive numbers with Aaron Judge, and if they stay that way throughout the year, and let's say, and again, if they do, Judge is going to win it because of where he plays and who he is. I would just ask the voters why. Tell me why you would vote for someone who, again, it's a fabulous. I mean, Aaron Judge is a once in a generation player. Okay, he's phenomenal, but he plays right field. Okay, he does. The other guy, he plays the hardest position in the sport, and he's the best at it. That I would just say to voters, it's not just an offensive award, and they treat it like that. You have to factor in defense, especially in the case between Raleigh and Judge. And I know it's June. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but it's been brought up, and it's a phenomenal season that Cal's been able to put together. Yeah, so as a catcher, he has 202 plate appearances as a catcher with 21 of his home runs as a catcher, 37 of his RBIs as a catcher. He has a 725 slugging percentage as a catcher when he's catching in games. I mean, that's pretty freaking absurd. I don't know, and I think that most writers get it, and what Judge is doing, his numbers are so absurd that changes the math a little bit. But there is no way to quantify the physical beating that catching takes on Cal, or even truly measure his value defensively. But defensive run saves and framing metrics and all that stuff don't measure the value that he provides defensively in the sense of what he does with the pitchers on a daily basis. I mean, think about the offensive numbers that he's putting up. He still puts the pitchers first in terms of he still puts them to get first in his priority list. His batting, his hitting, that takes a back seat to what he does with the pitchers. He puts all that ahead of him. His routine is for him to get himself physically ready to play every day, which is no small task. And then it's start game planning with the pitchers meetings, going over the scouting reports, everything, the daily meeting with the starter, all that stuff first. Oh, wait. Oh, I still have to go hit. I still get to go do this. Oh, I might catch a bullpen, or I might be out there to see what's going on just to make sure. Like he does all of that, all of his offensive stuff, all of the stuff that's garnered him the attention is secondary because he puts the pitchers ahead of where, even when
you're speaking of catchers, your colleague there at the Seattle Times, who was a guest on the Daily Puck Drop on Monday, and just fabulous. The reviews were sensational. People begging for him to come back. He had Adam Jude. He had teased the story that he was working on about Harry Ford and how he caught up with Jerry DiPoto to get his comments about Harry Ford. And it's out today, and it's an interesting read. And I think that both things can be true. As I read it, maybe it was yesterday. As I read it I think it sounds like there's a good possibility that you could see Harry Ford come up this year. Jim and I talked about it last week, and I thought, God, I wouldn't do it, because if he comes up, how much is he going to catch? Would it be wise for him to not catch a lot? He still has, like every young catcher, he has to work at it. Certainly has got to continue to improve at his skill set of playing the most important position on the field. So wouldn't you want him to get him more reps in Tacoma rather than come up here and only, catch twice a week? And then what do you do when he doesn't catch? Does he DH? Like what is that? Isn't that a lot to throw on a plate of a 23-year-old? But then you read the comments from DiPoto, and you're like, well, then maybe they would do it. And then, as Jude points out, this is exactly what the Dodgers just did with their top catching prospect. But then on the other side, I read it as this really felt like hey, we've got this guy, and he is so good. God, he's so good. And I'm just telling you, he's going to be a catcher forever, and we love him, and he's going to be up soon. It really felt like a kind of a dangling of a trade bait type of, look at this great guy we have, and if you want him, it's going to cost you. And I think, honestly, both things can be true when you discuss Harry Ford.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of it is like kind of like Jerry speak,
Sure.
And you're not going to sit there and say, well, we don't know what we're going to do with him, or he could do this or do that, because you don't want to do anything to diminish his trade value. So I honestly thought, like I said it several times last year, that he was going to get traded last year. They tried. They pushed him on some deals that they were looking at, but it just wasn't there. I think the type of year he's having this year certainly increases his value. I haven't talked to any scouts necessarily about his defensive profile. Like last year it was lacking a little bit. Like, that people just thought that a guy that athletic should be better defensively than he was. He's got cannon for an arm, but he isn't throwing out enough runners, things like that. I'm sure it's improving. He works his ass off, but I'm sure there's a way you can make Harry Ford come up there and work. You do have kind of Garver as the albatross, but if he keeps doing what he's doing and you're still lacking from offensive production, then you just have to get creative and find a way to carry it.
Okay.
The one thing is like, he isn't real comfortable playing another position. He wants to be a catcher.
Right.
Like you can say in your mind, you can say, look, there's a way we can keep them both. And the one thing is does it diminish his development that much if he comes up and plays, 3 or 4 times a week? Like, if you're creative enough where you can get him DH at bats and stuff like that, and the catching stuff, can you still develop him into a quality big leaguer at the major league level? A lot of people say no, particularly catching.
Mm-hmm.
Other people, I'm sure Jerry, is confident, and he probably has a study, or he probably has some stats that, he could sell people on the idea of it, including himself. And that's internally, you have to ask yourself, are we doing damage to the kid? Are we helping ourselves? And how does this affect his trade value too? Like, because if you really believe that, like, hey, you want to go out and get Brandon Lau from the Rays, or if you hoping that maybe you want to go after Suarez or somebody like that, and they want a catcher. Okay, well, here's how we do it. Does that diminish it in any way?
If you bring him up, how you mentioned it, I mean, do you catch him twice a week, 3 times a week? Can you afford to take Cal out, or now we're playing that roster game where we allow Cal to be the DH? But again, you run into that problem that we've always had when they've carried these 2 catchers to have one guy catch and one guy be the DH.
Yeah, man, like that's the thing. You can't really carry 3 catchers, I don't think. I mean, they've done it before. Obviously, there was Savala, but and they are versatile enough. But you already have a third baseman that's essentially a DH, in Polanco.
Right.
So it's like, I guess it gets to the point where they're ready to walk away from Garver and just say, look, we're not going to do that. But about the time you do that, somebody gets dinged up,
Sure. But let me just ask you, though, in your opinion, do you think that Ford will be up here? Do you think it's a reality coming soon?
Soon? No, I don't think it. Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't think till July.
Before, well, obviously before the deadline. Okay, so about a month.
And that may be something that, teams want to see. Like, hey, we want to see this kid at the MLB level. So,
okay.
But, I mean, it's hard because, like you said, it just that the risk reward of it all. What's the reward? What's the risk? And like, how does it work? I mean, obviously, if Garver got hurt, then he'd be up tomorrow.
Yeah. See, I guess my concern is not so much about, it has nothing to do with Mitch Garver, because I mean, listen, Mitch Garver, unfortunately, just has not worked out here. It's not been good. It has not gotten any better. He's virtually, he's been good, behind the plate and all that, but. Offensively, there's been nothing that he has provided to the team. It's just more about Harry Ford. If you bring him up, does he benefit more from being up here? Because I can see the other side of it is he comes up here, catches twice a week, but he gets to be in a room with the best catcher in baseball.
Yeah.
And sit there and learn and soak it all in and work with him on a daily basis. Does that outweigh the actual being down the PCL and catching down there? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess you have Cal up there, you have Dan up there, you have all these guys that you want. I don't even think it's the money at this point either. Garver's a sunk cost. You're paying it one way or the other.
Exactly. So that doesn't mean anything.
But to me, it's just more like, well, what if, if to bring Harry Ford up, you got to dump Garver. Then if Ford struggles or whatever, then you have to go back and find a guy, whatever. I don't know if Blake Hunt had passed through waivers yet or not when they made that 40-man roster move, but it's still a position you need to fill, the backup catcher role, and you seem to have one with Garver that you like. Mm-hmm. I think what would hold Harry back is just the idea of the development aspect of it, is if he's ready defensively and everything for all that goes into it. And that, because, like, again, you're going up there and your focus is on the pitching and all that preparation first. Would the offense that has been kind of off the charts for his career this year, suffer because of that? It's not to say that he doesn't do that at the minor leagues, but at the major league level, the attention to detail for the pitching side and stuff is highly, highly, highly demanding.
Big thanks to Divish. And again, he has a weekly visit with us every single Wednesday from beautiful Havre, Montana. We go 40-plus minutes this week. Full episode of the Ryan Divish podcast available for Puck's Posse members. We give you a little snippet every single week. Full 40 minutes. We talk more. It's his birthday. We get into his birthday. A little bit more on the Mariners, more on some trade candidates. Ryan O'Hearn, we talked about him. A lot more detail on the status of George Kirby and others, the bullpen, decisions being made there. So again, full episode of the Ryan Divish podcast available for Puck's Posse members. Go to pucksports.com, sign up today, join as little as just $5 a month. Get a discount if you sign up for a year, and you get access to the full Ryan Divish show. All right, we will, before we get to Hey What the Puck, We have episode 10 of the Sports Pit is out now, available to all Puck's Posse members. We're going to give you about 20 minutes of it right here. It is a 90-minute show. It was a little delayed this week because of schedules. But myself, Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson, we were joined, welcomed, graced with his presence, Mitch Levy, Mitch Unfiltered podcast. Okay, world-renowned Seattle sports talk show host. He was on this week's show. This was fun. It's a must-listen and watch the full 90 minutes. If you're going to pay for one thing, I would pay for this, to watch it and listen to it. It's the first time these three, Steve, Stretch, and Mitch, have been together in 20 years. 20 years. And they picked up right where they left off. Here's about 20 minutes, a little snippet of this week's episode 10. It's titled, "What Exactly is a Golden Shower?" How long did the three of you do the show together?
2.5 years.
That's it.
2 years. Yeah.
Really? That's it?
Yeah. Yep. I went from Softy. I remember these dates clearly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's just...
That's not bad or good. Or I just remember I left Softy's show. I sat in I sat in an interview. I was interviewed by Purple Sheet and Mitch, and I don't know who I was replacing. Yeah. How'd that go?
The interview questions. So it must have been really.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta hear this.
I'd like to know what he asked you in order to get the job. What was it? Give your life away and let me berate you all day long? How did that go?
This guy right here?
Yeah, this guy. How did that go?
Were there role-playing questions like, what if you were in this scenario?
You're like, come on.
Okay, what do you do in the following situation? The 8 o'clock guest bails and the egg white omelet is cold.
Pivot now.
Yeah. You have tickets to Gina Gray's prize drawer. Yeah. Yeah, she was funny. Yeah, I don't know. I asked what the expectations were. This isn't a shot at anybody on this show. There wasn't a long line to be Mitch's producer at the time.
That's hot.
And
who were the candidates, Stretch? It was you. Who else? Who else had interviewed?
Oh, yeah, stop right there. Yeah, stop. Yeah, that's about it. That's right about it. Maybe somebody pretend in Bend, Oregon, or Wenatchee was coming over, or Spokane.
That's who they use to bargain your money with. Hey, we listen. I got another guy right outside here that is dying for this job.
So we're gonna have to start you at
So here's what we're gonna pay you.
We're gonna start you at $26 a year, and here's a pass to the Sonics game. So listen, if you want to go to a Sonics game, that's on us. But we'll start you at $26.5.
Right, and then they push you. This is really going to boost your career. This is going to be a great move for your career, Stretch.
Yeah.
Do you realize who you're working with?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, there wasn't a lot of pressure on the interview. I thought, they just say no, and I go back to producing and directing, running the board for Softy, and I think Travis had left by then. I don't remember. And so,
who did you take over for?
I'm not being a smartass. You'd have to tell me. I'd have no idea.
Mitch, didn't Stelton go to like Chicago or St. Louis or something?
Yeah. Well, he went to
Sporting News. Sporting News. Yeah.
Yes.
Or was it? Did you take over for Sears or Clark Strauss or?
Schmitzy Lamb?
Oh my God!
Alan Lamb,
the guy that would stand there and perspire.
He passed away. He's no longer.
I did not know that.
Yeah, long time ago.
Yes, I knew that. Now what? Now do I feel guilty that I made fun of his sweating?
Yeah. Thanks for the thanks for the pick me up story.
I think the relationship between me and Lamb took a turn for the worse because he used to wear this Kiss shirt.
Tank top.
Tank top. That's right. With all of the faces on it. And I think I once said on the air that he sweats so much during our show that all their makeup kind of.
He was a sweaty guy.
Kind of runs. The makeup, like if you ever want to see what Steve Simmons really looked like, you could actually find out what he looked like by looking at Alan Lamb's sweat or tank top, because his makeup would come off, and Lamb never really talked to me the same way.
I was going to say, that couldn't have been the worst thing you said to Alan Lamb. I mean,
well, I said to a lot worse after that.
Yeah.
Straight.
Okay.
A lot.
Well, I remember the weirdest Alan Lamb phone call was during the whole Sue Bird thing, and the hotline rang on like Wednesday, and sports radio. This is Matt Stretchy. This is what was his nickname? Was it Schwitzy?
I think it was Schwitzy Lamb.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Hey, Matt, Stretchy. This is Schwitzy. Oh, hey, how's it going? He'd been up to Vancouver. He was up in Vancouver. He said, really need Mitch on this week to talk about this whole Sue Bird thing. And I said, uh-huh.
Where was I?
You were on the air. You were on the air. I said, well, you know his number. You've got his number. He goes, well, I've called and I haven't got a call back. And I said, uh-huh. And we just sat there, and he said, well, I'm calling in this favor. And I said, what the hell are you talking? What? He goes, Stretchy, I worked for him for a couple of years. I'm calling in a favor. I need him on the air. And it was the most awkward. He thought that he put in the time and he needed you on the air. He was up in Vancouver. He was at the big sports radio station.
And Stretch, you're just now telling me that he needs me? I mean, could you have told me a little bit earlier? I would have done the show. You're just now 20 years later.
Well, he called and left a message. I called and left a message last week. You still haven't called me back, Mitch. You don't call people back. It's okay. No. It's all right.
Were you there, Sandy? Were you there with Tyler Orsborn or no?
Yeah. I was there during the Tyler Orsborn era.
Were you there when Orsborn took a suitcase of cash to buy a car that I bought him?
In Yakima or something?
That's not right. He took us. Yeah, you probably remember the story, right?
We talked about his auto problems, right? He had a vehicle that would break down. You were yelling at him for being late all the time. And Jack Carroll from Jack Carroll's Linwood Dodge came to the rescue. And they
but before that, he bought a car in Oregon, and he decided that it was a good idea to take a
backpack.
Backpack. And when we said, oh, for Christ's sake, where did you put the backpack? He goes, oh, I just shoved it under my seat.
Oh, cash.
Yeah.
Cash. Like Brewster's Millions, except he had like $6,000.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was a piece of shit for like $1,300. It was a car that he limped back from Portland for nothing, I don't think.
I thought he sold the car that Jack Carroll gave him.
That's what I remember, right? That's the story, right?
Let's start back to the bag of cash.
First of all, Jack Carroll did not give him the car.
Okay.
He bought
the
car.
Yeah.
Okay.
From Jack Carroll.
Okay.
Now, Jack Carroll might have given me a sweetheart of a deal. I don't know. I bought.
Well, he did. That's all right.
I bought the truck for. I felt terrible about the whole Portland incident with the backpack of cash. That I bought him a truck, and you're right. We found out that he sold it.
You laundered money through your producer.
Well, he got
Blazers plus 350.
He got the bag of cash stolen. That was the first kicker. Remember, he got the bag of cash stolen, and I said, "What the hell are you doing with a bag of cash? Don't you like we do cashier's checks now in 2002? That's what we do." Yeah. And so we beat him up about that, and then he's driving way up north every morning, and so the car would break down. So Mitch gets this killer truck. Jason, the latching,
I remember this.
The latching mechanism in the bed was worth more than my car. I mean, the truck was killer. It was a V6, but it cost too much gas, so he sold it. Didn't he sell it to Dick Fane? How did Dick Fane get? No, he sold it. Then he bought Dick Fane's white Integra.
You're right.
Yep. Yeah. And then one day, Mitch sees that he's getting out of the car, and he says, "Hey, Stretchy, where's the blue truck?" And I said, "You're going to have to ask him." And remember when the blue truck showed up with Jack Carroll and whoever was down there waving, he cried, had him on the air. He cried on the air, the whole thing, like Tracy Taylor would cry. He'd cry on the air. He cried on the air. It was very touching. Whether you paid $5 or $500 for that truck, that's
touching.
That's
touching. Stretch, was it really touching?
Well, that's. I mean, and Sandmeyer. I mean, you've known him to be a very touching person.
It was a nice. Not that Mitch bought him a car. I don't give a shit, but that he cried on the air. Yes, here's a guy that was making $6 an hour and could barely get to work on time, and Mitch bought him a truck for a very, very discounted deal, I'm sure. But that's not the point. He went out and got the.
Why do you have to keep bringing up that it was a discounted price?
Well, actually, I'm curious of what you paid now, but
I feel it was like $6,000.
Yeah. Hey, Levy, what was the IRS threshold on cash purchases for autos in 2002?
What was the write-off?
Huh?
I've been on the run for that and other things ever since.
Yeah.
So
it's easy to get away from that. Yeah, Tyler Orsborn. Also, the worst Tyler Orsborn story I thought of just the other day because I saw a highlight is that he called Dan Quisenberry's house after Quisenberry passed away, asking Dan Quisenberry to come on the Daily Schnoz, and his wife answers the fucking phone, and I screamed through that little microphone, "Who the fuck are you on the phone with?" And he said, Dan Quisenberry's wife. I said, "Oh my God, fucking A! No, he's not available, you asshole!"
Right,
I couldn't believe it. He also called the Lakers play-by-play guy, Chick Hearn, to have him on after he fell in his backyard, and it was like, you got to pick up a sports page, dude. Remember, that's
we had this like 20-page directory, like Excel printout of schnoz guests. And there was a column, because it was an Excel, it was a column on the right that told you whether you should call this guy. So if you went down the column on the right, you'd see dead, not available, never wants to talk to Mitch again. Do not call! Exclamation mark!
Yeah. I mean, every now and then he'd come in the update booth. Hey, can you tell me a little bit more? I'm thinking of calling Roberto Clemente.
He was
Sandmeyer. You had the best seat in the whole thing. There was no pressure on you. You were good to go.
I could stir the pot and watch it all happen and suffer little to no consequences. You're right. It was the very best seat. You just had
to be up at 5:30 in the morning at that time of your life.
Yeah, well, we all did. You know, I mean, we all did it. I mean, I remember taking the photo of Mitch's oldest. I took a photo of Max sitting in an update chair when he could barely sit up. So you were just having kids, and of course you're up all night, and so you were cruising in doing the show.
He was 12 at the time, but go ahead.
Listen,
don't tell him I told you that.
You could have fooled me. You could have fooled me. But I remember when you were just having your first. I don't know how. Well, they're 5 years apart. Your kids are, Mitch. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me check.
Yeah, whatever.
4.5 years.
But I remember, so like Levy would come in having very little sleep, and I'm like, how bad can it really be? And then, of course, when I had 2 kids 20 months apart, Jenny and I had 2 kids 20 months apart, I found out the hard way. But, I mean, that was when I was, young, single, doing whatever. And then we would do the post-game show from the Mariners game the night before. And that's the story I told you on the other podcast episode, Puck, of like, they used to give you trade at Jimmy's on First. So Nelly and I and a few other interns and Puckett went through like $20,000 worth of booze in like 4 months. Like we got a call from Rich Moore calls us into the office, and Nelly's there and I'm there. We think we're going to get a pat on the back, and like that trade was for the whole year. That was for all 12 months. He's like, why do we only have $338 of trade left? We thought we were going to get a pat on the back for a job well done.
Was that before or after I brought up the stats on Nelly that in setup roles he had an incredible ERA, but he couldn't close? Every time they gave him a chance to close, he was just awful, and he got mad at me and never talked to me again.
Well, he may have also been upset that you made fun of the color of his giant Hummer automobile.
My God, I was just going to bring that up. Yeah,
yellow Hummer.
No, urine. Right, Sandy? Wasn't it? You called it. Who would drive a urine-colored Hummer?
Yep.
He would pull in for Softy's show, and Mitch went, look at, here comes the urine color. And I'm like, this isn't good. This isn't good.
But he was very sensitive, Sandy, was he not, about the fact that his numbers were just completely different when he got those rare opportunities to close?
I think he was sensitive.
He was unhittable in the eighth, couldn't pitch the ninth.
I couldn't tell you if he was sensitive to those numbers. I could tell you he was sensitive to a certain radio host repeating those numbers in a certain tone of voice.
Week after week after week.
So the numbers themselves, was he sensitive? Beats me. But I do know that leading every single 9 o'clock segment for 3 weeks straight by mentioning Jeff Nelson's splits between setup and save situations, it might have gotten to him a little bit.
Oh, God.
He was kind of a stud, too. I mean, look at what he did. He had a nice career. Nice career. And someone to have on your back if one of your players got beamed. He's the first one out of the pen to beat your ass. Go ahead. Go ahead, boss.
How often, Stretch and Sandy, how often did you have to apologize for Mitch to people?
Did you?
I quit.
No,
I quit doing. No, I mean, I quit doing that. I would just, because at first, sorry to take that stand. For me, it was, yeah. And then after, like, I don't know, 3-4 months, it was like, you talk to him, or, you know, how are the ratings or something? I'd be a smart ass, and like the ratings were fine and the show was funny. So you talk to him. What am I? That's like the Sonics. I went to one meeting and the Sonics, you didn't show up, Mitch. I think we've talked about this on your podcast. And I'm like, what do you want from me? What do you want from me? I haven't slept in 3 days. I've got holes in my red sweats. I look like shit. And I'm going to drink at 10:30 Friday morning. I don't know. You talk to him. So no, I don't know.
I never apologized once. I didn't have to.
Okay.
I mean, because Stretch was in a position where he had the relationships with these organizations and these potential guests and all this other stuff. Like I was like, hey, that's the show. And I actually started stealing Mitch's line. Like, I'd be like, hey, man, the show isn't for everybody. Like, don't come bitching to me about Levy. And believe me, a lot of people did. But I was that's not me. I'm me and he's him. But like, I don't know, apologize. And now, I mean, like that stuff to me, it's like, we're going to slap this show together, and some people are going to like it and some people aren't.
Yeah.
There was one, who was our general sales manager towards, I don't know, he left. What was his name?
Sean Shannon?
Thank you. Sean came up to me one time and said, hey, listen, da-da-da-da-da. And I said, come on, man, no. And then because I was definitely spiteful at the time, I would play sound effects during some commercials that made, I know Mitch giggle, but I would play like the hawk sound during this one commercial. And then Sean Shannon says, you can't play any more, no more sound effects during commercials. They paid for those spots. He got all serious. So fucking the very next day, I mean, like, what? I mean, are you really going to fire me? Do I get suspended or written up? And I was just I just kept doing it. And I remember Mitch giggling like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. I mean, like,
it was an Alaska Airlines commercial.
Oh my gosh.
It had bald eagle sounds in it.
Yeah.
It had bald eagle sounds in it. And I remember we were cracking up because somebody complained, whether it was the ad agency or somebody, because somehow it got to Sean, right? Somebody either that cut the spots or produced them, whatever, goes, well, listen, that is an authentic, I'm not bullshitting you, like a Pacific Northwest bald eagle. And Shannon was pissed. He's like, what are you doing? That's a bald eagle sound, and you're putting other bird sounds over the bald eagle. Like, it was a big thing to do. And I would sit in the old studio next to Mitch there's different update booths and stuff nowadays. I don't know. It's been so long since I've done any of that. Anyway, but we're right next to each other, and I could see Stretch through the window, and he would look at me, he'd stare at me, and then hit the button. A little bird sound over the other bird sounds.
But my question to you guys is, you're talking about all the things we did to piss. I'm saying I did all the things that I did to piss people off. If we didn't as a group do those things every morning, what would we have done for 4 hours? I mean, it was the whole fucking show, was it not?
Yes.
That's what we did. That was our call of duty. We walked in there. Sandmeyer, I mean, you could see
Stir the pot. Stir the.
Yes, Sarah would walk in at 5:30 and then 6 or whenever we started.
5:59.
He'd look at me and I'd look at him, and we knew what we were there to do.
Yeah.
We were there to just be annoying, piss people off, and try to make people laugh at the same time.
Yeah, yep, that was it. That was it. And you know what? The funny part was, I think more people listened to the show but didn't want to admit to it. Like, we were like kind of like one of their little
guilty pleasures.
Thank you.
Your story that actually predates you. You say that you don't realize how on the mark you are. Before you got there, long before Stretch got there, when they were filling out diaries, when they were literally filling out diaries.
Yeah.
My ratings were so bad when I came in to do the midday show. I had meetings with Michael O'Shea and Bob Case, and I would present this scenario where I think people are listening, but they don't want to admit it when they write it down. They're writing down Cairo or something else because they don't want to write down that they listen to KJR from 5:30 to 10 or from 12 to 3 in the midday. I swear to you, I made that. I don't know if I was right, but I made that case. So I don't know. People were ashamed to admit that they listened for a while.
I mean, it was like people, my wife would sometimes be, there were like people that we would poke fun of that wouldn't take it too kindly.
Oh, that was the best, whoever that was.
Maybe the Moyer family. I'm just throwing out random names here.
To listen to the full Sports Pit podcast too. I left you there with the Jamie Moyer. Why would Jamie Moyer's family be upset? It is a 90 minutes of just great storytelling by those three. If you prefer me not to have a part in any of this stuff, which I prefer as well, yet I'm not in it. It's just these three who I contend, and I was even amazed when they had mentioned, to me, it's the best Seattle sports talk show that was ever was, and probably ever will be. That's not a slight to anybody. It just was unmatched, and I think we'll unmatch because of, and the important thing was because of the chemistry of those three individuals. And it wasn't sunshine. I mean, in the way and how volatile it was and how crazy it was and how demanding it wasn't going to last, because it probably couldn't last. But when those three got together and did a show, and I was amazed it was only for 2.5 years, 3 years. It seemed much longer than that. It was there was nothing better than it. And they go into some great stories, great details, a fabulous story by Sandmeyer in regards to Barbara Hedges, more producer talk, just more stuff that Stretch went through as being a producer of Mitch. And again, it was just really fun for me to get those guys back together, those three back together, because it'd been 20 years since they had sat and been sharing, I guess, a microphone. And it was just fun to watch and fun to listen, fun to sit back, because when I worked there, I was just a fan of their show, and a fan of all three of those guys. So it's 90 minutes long. You want to sit back, you want to laugh, you want to have a good time, you want to reminisce, all of it. Go listen to, you can listen to it and also watch it as well. Go to pucksports.com, sign up to be a Pucks Posse member. It's $5 a month. You get everything when you sign up for that. All the free, you support all the free shows that we do every day for you. No one's giving you free daily content like this with the guests. Plus, we give you bonus shows like the Sports Pit every week. So that one with Mitch, Sandmeyer, and Stretch. Our MLB Insider Ryan Divish, full show of that there as well. And Mitch coming back up tomorrow. Mitch joins me live during the Daily Puck Drop, but then once it's over, his appearance with me weekly goes just for Pucks Posse members. It was fun. That was a fun episode. Sorry it came out a little bit later than usual, but fun episode to record, and I think fun for especially for me, but I think especially for those three guys to get back again and share some laughs, because their chemistry honestly was unmatched for that period of time that they were on KJR and the morning show. All right. So a lot of stuff. Good fun show today. In case you missed it, Jim and I were on about 45 minutes just talking about everything. Jalen Milroe, Harry Ford, Ryan Divish. That podcast is up there, so go check that out. The full 40-plus minutes of it will be available for Posse members and for your listening and viewing pleasure. Let's wrap it up with Hey, What the Puck, which is brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. It's your restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage. With their property restoration services, locally owned and operated, make them your first call when these damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Not sure if you saw this news yesterday coming out of the NBA. Adam Silver announcing they're going to make yet another change to the All-Star game because it's broken. They can't fix it, so they're going to change it again. This time, it's Team World versus Team USA. Trying to probably piggyback on kind of that Olympic success. Problem is not the Olympics, and the problem still will remain. They will not try because they don't want to try. Maybe I'm an old fuddy-duddy. Just go back how it used to be. That's it. East versus West. There's nothing you're going to ever do anymore to make them want to play. They make too much money now. They don't want to play. They don't want to try. They're not going to try with this. It's not going to mean anything more to them. It's still the same thing. I don't want to be there. I make a lot of money. It's not important to me. By Team World versus Team USA, not going to change that. You can't get these guys to do the slam dunk anymore. We get some scrub who's from the G League that's in it every year. 3-point competition, yeah, they kind of do it. Some guys do it. At this point, go back to East-West, bring back the old uniforms that we used to have, the red versus the blue, and call it good. No one cares anymore. They don't care. The ratings are, it's an all-star game. Let them screw around. Stop trying to save something that you can't save. You can't save it. It's unsavable because the players make it unsavable. And a big part of it, I don't know. I just go back to the way it was. This is another thing. I love ideas of throwing stuff against the wall to try and make it more popular, but this is not going to work. Just like all the other changes you've ever done, this last thing they did with the quarters and the games, none of that made sense, and it was stupid. And just another example of why this is not going to work. Not the Olympics. They won't put as much pride into it as they do the Olympics. So change it back, East versus West, call it good. That's Hey, What the Puck. Brought to you by Restoration One, again, of North Seattle, your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage. Give them a call, 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Thanks for watching and listening to today's show. Thank you to all our sponsors, Limback Lumber, Chalet Bowl, Georgetown Brewery. Check out their new Tavern Beer, and, of course, Restoration One. Today's Daily Puck Drop, you can find it up on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Also find the Daily Puck Drop on all your favorite podcast platforms, and, of course, at pucksports.com. When you're there at the website, please sign up, become a member of the Pucks Posse. $5 a month is all it costs you. Again, you support all the free content and all the VIP and bonus shows that we provide to you as members. Baseball coverage, MLB Insider Ryan Divish, which is out today. Sports Pit with Steve Sandmeyer and Matt Stretch Johnson. That includes Mitch Levy. That is out today as well. 90 minutes of it. Of laughter. Mitchie the Kid, his weekly appearance with me tomorrow during the live DPD, but then he goes behind the Pucks Posse paywall after the show is over. And, of course, you can also check out the Garage with Gas Take 5 podcast. We now produce it. You can find it up on YouTube and all podcast platforms, and, of course, at pucksports.com. As always, appreciate all the support. Love everyone for tuning in daily, whether you watch or listen live or later. It's very humbling that you all tune in every single day and make this a success. Couldn't be more proud of how this has all gone. Thank you. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. As always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rob you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!